Three things at the top, one more time. 1.4. Intro to radicals. And today's date is the 24th. Again, you do not have to write period 4. All right, we're going to write down simplify to simplest radical form. Radical form means there's a radical in your final answer, if it exists. Sometimes it does not, but if there's a radical, it stays in your final answer. You do not write it in decimal form. All right, number 1, we're going to start off with a pretty easy one. Square root of 25. Without any work, without a calculator, what is the square root of 25? 5. And do you agree it is 5 because, I'm going to put a little thinking bubble here. I want you to do the same. We don't show this work, but do you agree that 25 is 5 times 5?
Yes.
And the square root is asking you what two numbers multiply to 25 that are exactly the same. They have to be exactly the same, correct? All right, and so it is, do I write my final answer as 5 times 5 or just the 5?
Just the 5.
Just the 5. Now, we never write this, but that's kind of our thought process, 5 times 5, so the answer is 5. Yes or no?
Yep.
All right, number 2. Square root of 36. Without any work, without a calculator, what's the square root of?
6.
6. Good. Now, one more time, we're going to draw the thinking bubble. We don't write this, but should we recognize that 36 is 6 times 6? Yes or no? Now, when I write my final answer, do I write 6 times 6 or do I take it out as just the 6? Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
All right. This one, students get stuck sometimes. Square root of 1. What is the square root of 1?
0.5. 0.
Okay, I heard 3 answers. I heard 1, 0, and 0.5. Now be careful. Is square root cutting a number in half? No, you're asking yourself what times what is 1, and the two numbers have to be exactly the same. What times what is 1? Do you agree that 1 times 1 is 1? So what's the square root of 1? 1. Okay, this thinking bubble, do you have to show this work?
No.
No. This is just us thinking. Now, none of these answers here have a radical in it. It says write in radical form, but all of these are just 5, 6, and 1. No radicals. Why is that? Because 25, 36, and 1 are all called what? It has a special name. Perfect. Starts with an S. Perfect squares. 25 is a perfect square, 36 is a perfect square, and 1 is a perfect square. If you're dealing with the perfect squared, you will not have any radicals in your final answer. All right, I'm going to pause here and have you guys either take out your calculators or do a quick run up to the box and grab one. If you are grabbing, check if the people around you need any. Don't just grab for yourself. I like your shirt. The infinity sign. Anthony, can you pick that case up? I don't know who left that behind. And can you just leave it on? Do you have a case on yours? Okay, can you use it for yours at the end? All right, thank you. Okay, yes. Nope. Nope. So if the question was, can we use a phone for a calculator? No, you either have your own or you're borrowing one of mine. Can you grab 2 and walk this way for him? Or he's coming up already. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else need one? Okay, number 4, square root of 8. You won't need your calculators yet. We will be using them later. Now, 4 is a common answer given to me. Can you guys plug that in here? 8, you would type in 8 on your calculator.
I got 2.9.
You got your square root key here. Does it come out to be 4?
2.
And can we have a decimal answer?
No.
No. Is it 3?
No.
Yeah,
No, we can have, not only can we not have a decimal answer, we don't round our decimal answers either. Radical form means if it's not a perfect squared, you're going to have a radical in your answer. Is 8 a perfect squared? No, 8 divided by 2 is 4, but is 4 times 4 equal 8? Is 3 times 3 equal 8? Is 8 a perfect squared?
No.
No. So here is the new part. Is everybody ready? You remember, well, this piece right here is review, but the final piece will be new. Do you guys remember how to use your factor tree from elementary school?
4 times 2.
4 times 2. 2 is prime, so I circle, and then I break down the 4 to 2 times 2. Okay, that's review. Do you guys remember that from elementary school?
Yeah.
All right, so here's my radical, 2 times 2 times 2. And I'm going to do the same thing I did up here. I'm going to look for pairs. Only now, I'm not just going to think it, I'm actually going to write it down. So this thought process, I said, we don't need to write it. Notice it's no longer in a thinking bubble. This we have to write. Okay, in order to come out of the radical, I need to have a pair. Do you guys agree 5 times 5 came out as just 5? 6 times 6 came out as just 6. 1 times 1 came out as just 1. Yes or no? Yeah. All right. So what is the only pair here? This here. And that 2 times 2 is coming out as 4 or just 2? 2. Right? This 5 times 5 didn't come out as 25. It came out as just 5. Okay. So this times 2 comes out as just a 2. And since it came out, it's outside the radical. So it looks like this. Does this guy have a pair? It does not, so it stays inside as just the 2, and this is your final answer. 2 root 2, or 2 square root 2.
What the heck?
Okay, we're going to get more practice. Now, what happened? This came out as a pair, and when it comes out as a pair, you call it just 2, not 4. This pair is 2. This guy stayed in. This is radical form, 2 root 2. Why was there no radical up here? Because these were all called what? Perfect squares. This has a radical in it because 8 is not a perfect square. Got it? Okay, we're going to try another one.
That's difficult.
Is it? The more practice we get, it does get a little easier. Next one is the square root of 24.
4.
All right, so I'm going to let you guys break it down on your own. Someone may use 4 and 6, or 3 and 8, or 12 and 2. Totally up to you and what you use. In the end, we should all end up in the same place.
Oh, I got this.
Right now, we're just breaking down. And I'm going to call on Dante. Dante, can you tell me what 2 numbers you used?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. Continue. What did the 4 break down to?
2 and 2.
And your 6?
3 and 2.
And is that everything?
Yeah.
Is that as far as it goes?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many 2s do you have?
3.
And how many 3s do you have? Did anybody use a number other than 6, 4? 3 and 8? Okay, did you guys end up with 2, 2, 2, 3 at the end?
No.
No?
I'm
Still breaking down. Okay, go ahead and
Yeah.
continue. Anyone else? Different numbers, but the same at the end.
I did 12 and 2.
And did you get 2, 2, 2, 3? Okay. So in the end, we end up in the same spot. All right, what do I circle? Any numbers I want or just the pairs? Okay, so this pair right here, does this pair come out as 4 or a 2? 2. Are these guys pairs? No. There's 2 of them that not the same, so they're going to stay in. They're stuck. So what's coming out to the front? 2. And whatever's left over, you multiply. Don't leave it as 2 times 3. So what's left inside? 6. Beautiful. That is your answer.
Alright, I'm lost.
2 square root 6. Be more specific.
I have a question.
Yes.
Alright, so you know how you did the 2 times 2 or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Why is it 2? I don't get it.
The same reason why the square root of 5 times 5 came out as just 5, because it's a pair.
Oh, okay.
what do we call these? The square roots, right? We never write it, but you guys should know there's little 2's in here. We never write them, but we say it. That's why we call them square roots. Square roots is telling you to find pairs. Find in chunks of 2. Okay, so his question was, why does this come out as just 2? Because we're looking for pairs. Just like this 5 times 5 is a pair. We didn't write it as 25, we wrote it as just 5. This 6 times 6 is 36. We didn't write our answer as 36, we wrote it as just its pair, which is 6. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And please, if you guys have a question, please ask. I'm going to pause here and just let you know, those of you that have your own scientific calculators, you can use them during class and on homework. On test day, you will have to use one of my baby ones. The reason is, not all, but some of your scientific calculators, when you plug this in, it goes straight to this. And then your work is done for you, and then there's no work in between. Now, if you're using that tool, you're only hurting yourself because you're not getting the practice needed. So if your calculator does that, you can use it as a double checker, but don't use it as the way you're getting your answer, because you won't show your work. Those don't do it. It won't show your work. You won't be able to show work. And when it comes test day, if you don't have work, you get 0 points. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what was it? Square root of 24. So here's the calculator. Second, square root 24, and there's the answer. Can you guys see it? 2 root 6. Now, kids are like, oh, I'm going to use that. Can you use this on test day?
Wait, how do you do that?
I just plugged in square root of 24. But we can't use these on the test anyway. The only reason I'm showing you this is to show you, those of you that have calculators similar to this that do that for you, you're only hurting yourself if you're not getting this practice. And you're losing points, because I'm not going to give you points if you don't have the work. Got it? Yes?
Never mind.
No, ask me.
No, it wasn't a question.
Okay. Was it just being silly?
He took my pencil.
No, he took my pencil.
Can you guys please return the pencil so they can get to work? Return it, Isaac.
I mean,
Number.
yeah, I got a full bag of them, bud.
Okay, come on.
Thank you.
All right, next one we're going to do is the square root of hold on. Square root of 90. All right, go ahead and break it up.
Oh, negative.
Oh, good observation. Does that negative on the outside change the way you do your steps? No, what are you going to do at the end? Tag on
A negative.
a negative. That's it.
So the answer is a negative.
The answer is good. The final answer will be negative. Okay, go ahead and break it up. Ms. Idle, can you give me the two numbers you initially used? Okay, are you giving me the answer? Okay, it's okay. Can you tell me what you would break it down to now? What does 90 break down to? 9 and 10? Yeah, are you working with this, or you're not on your phone? Okay. Okay, but on your lap? No? Okay. Can anyone continue with us? What comes after this? This is
3 times 3.
3 and 3, and 10 is
5 and 2.
2 and 5, or 5 and 2. All right, square root, don't forget your negative. I have 2. Do I have more than 1 2 or just the 1? 3, 3, and a 5. Now I had a kid say, how do you know what order you should put the numbers? It doesn't matter as long as you keep all the 2's together, all the 3's, all the 4's, all the 5's together. I typically just go in order, 2 smaller, then 3, then 5. All right, do I have any pairs?
3.
3. Any other pairs?
No.
So does this come out as 9 or just the 3?
The 3.
All right, so what's coming out is the 3. And it's not just 3, it is,
Negative.
good job, negative 3. Square root, what stays in when you multiply? 10, and that is your final answer. Did anybody get that on their own before I started to explain? Good job. Does that make sense?
So
I
it
got it
stays
now.
negative?
And it stays negative because that negative there, it just tags on to the end.
Okay.
All right? Good. Number 7, plus or minus 7 root 120. All right, so just like this one, you're going to kind of ignore that, going to do your work, and what's going to tag on at the end? The plus or minus. All right, go ahead and ignore even the 7 for now. Just break down the 120 as you usually would. Just the 120 because that's what's inside the square root. Okay, Wyatt, can you tell me what you used to break it down? No, it doesn't matter if you finish. Just what 2 numbers did you use?
12 and 10.
12 and 10. Okay, which one did you break up next?
12.
2.
6 and 2.
Okay, and just keep going from here.
10, 5 and 2.
And keep going.
3 and 2 for 6.
Good job. Okay, how many 2s if you did anybody not use 12, 10 in the beginning? And did you still get the same breakup?
Yeah.
Let's
no.
see, how many 2s do I have?
Wait, no.
No, different breakup?
Yeah.
I have 3, he has 3 2s, a 3, and a 5. No? 2, 2, 2, a 3, and a 5. Did anybody use two different numbers but still end up with 2, 2, 2, 3, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does anybody need help? Okay. Wyatt, can you tell me what pairs are coming out?
2.
Any others besides this one here or just that 2?
It's just that one.
Just that one. So it's coming out as 4 or as 2?
2.
2. And what do I do with the 2 and the existing 7? Multiply? Because this is negative plus or minus 7 times. So what do I do with the 7 and the 2? So plus or minus 14. Square root. Are any of these pairs inside?
No.
No, so we just multiply 2 times 3 times 5. Go ahead and do that now. 2 times 3 times 5. And what do you get? 30. That one was more difficult?
Okay, so whatever comes out, you just multiply it by
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah, so she said whatever comes out, you just multiply by the coefficient. That's called a coefficient. Yes. Multiply, and then whatever's left in multiplies. Okay, what if you had something like this? Number 8. Negative square root of 216. Can you guys go ahead and do that? You can break it down using 2 or 3, 4, 8. Angelina, can you just at least tell me what 2 numbers you started off with?
6 and 36.
6 and 36? All right, and if you didn't use that, that's perfectly fine. All right. Do you guys have 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3? Even if you did not use the 6 and 36 in the beginning. All right. Pairs coming out. This is coming out as a what?
2,
Just a 2. And what about this? Coming out as a 9 or just a 3?
3,
And any other pairs? So what do we do with the numbers that are coming out? Wyatt told us earlier. What is it? Multiply. So what's 2 times 3? 6. Square root. What's left inside? 6. Do you guys agree? Where did I mess up?
Negative.
The negative. Good job. Anybody get that on their own, working ahead? Good. No? Okay, but does it make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. All right, number 9. I'm going to show you one that's well, actually, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to let you think about it before you do any writing, before you do any breaking down process. Go ahead, try it on your own. No, does it break down too much? Anybody completely break it down? Is there a lot of 2s?
Yes.
Yeah. How many 2s are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 24.
8 2s? You said 6?
6. I did it wrong.
6?
Wait. 7.
Let's see. 8 and 8. 4 and 2. 2 and 4. 2 and 2. 2 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nobody's stopping me, so I'm assuming nobody has found the shortcut yet. What does this come out as?
2.
What does this come out as?
2.
And what does this come out as? And what do I do with those 3 2s? What's 2 times 2?
4.
Times 2?
8.
Times 3?
24.
Do we agree it's 24? Any more radical?
Nah.
No, because all of these had a pair. If there's everything has a pair and there's nothing left inside, will you have a radical left in your answer? No. Are we ready for the shortcut?
Sure.
I waited for anybody to say it. Nobody did, and that's okay. But I'm going to cover all this. What do you notice about 64? It's, I heard somebody say it's a perfect what? Square. Is 64 a perfect square? What is the square root of 64?
8.
What's 8 times 3?
24.
Same answer? Oh, would that have been a lot quicker?
Yeah.
Okay, now that trick only works when the number inside is a what again? Perfect square. So keep an eye out for them. Look for your perfect squares because it's going to save you time. If it's a perfect square, do you have to break it up? No. For example, let's see if we can do this next one using a shortcut. Number 10, 5 root 36. Can 36 be broken up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have to? No, because 36 is a what? Perfect squared. Don't do all the breakup if it's a perfect square. What's the square root of 36?
6.
So you're left with what is your final answer?
30.
30.
I got it written.
All right. Do you guys agree it's easier?
Yes.
Okay, again, they're not all like this, but when they are, take advantage of it, save your time, and just, you do have to show the work of 5 times 6. You can't just put 30. 5 times 6 is 30, and we're good. Questions? We're good? Okay, number 11. 2 root 5 times 3 root 35. Hello, Mrs. Torres. So what we do is we multiply the numbers without the radicals and the numbers with. So let's start outside. What's 2 times 3? 6. Times, can you guys plug in your calculator or do it by hand? What's 5 times 35?
75.
175. Is 175 a perfect squared? Anybody know? It's not, so we can't use our shortcut. We will have to break it down. Now, some kids will say, well, I'm just going to use 5 and 35 because I already know those numbers. Some kids will say, well, I'd rather use 25 because I know 25 works. Break it down however you see fit. Make sure you're showing your work, and go ahead and continue on your own. Can I have a volunteer telling me what two numbers you used for 175?
35.
35 and 5. All right, did anybody use 25? 25 and 7. In the end, should we end up in the same spot?
Yeah.
Yes? Isaac, can you continue 35, 5, and that was
7 times 5.
7 times 5. So 6 on the outside, 5, 5, and 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes? All right, Isaac, continue. What comes out?
About 5.
And it comes out as 25 or just the 5?
It is 5.
And what do I do with the 5 coming out and the 6 that's already there?
Multiply.
Which is?
30.
And what stays in?
7.
And if you get this on your own ahead of me, yes? Good. All right, let's try another one like this, and then we're going to move on to different types. Number 12. Negative root 2 times 4 root 3 times root 30. What's here in the front besides the negative sign? What is this? A negative what? 1. What's the coefficient here that I don't see? Positive 1. So you have negative 1 times 4 times 1. Can you do that right now? Negative 1 times 4 times 1. What is that?
Negative 4.
Times the square root of 2 times 3 times 30. 180. And what are you going to break down? The negative 4 or the 180? The 180. Go ahead and do that now. Use 10 and 18. Or 90 and 2. There's other possibilities. Ivan, can you tell me what two numbers you used for 180? 18 and 10. And can you go ahead and continue, even if you're not done yet? What does that break down to? All right, any more breaking down? Three and 3? Be careful, 9, do you agree is 3 times 3? Yeah. All right. So I have 2 2s, 3 and a 3, and a 5. Do you guys agree? And what's out front? Okay, what pair comes out? A 2 comes out, and it comes out as 2, not 4. Does this come out as 9 or 3? 3. And does a 5 come out or stay? So I have 2 times 3 is? Times negative 4. Negative 24 root what? All right, questions? No? Getting a little easier?
Yes.
Okay. Number 13, 4 root 5 times 4 root 5. What's 4 times 4?
16.
What's 5 times 5?
25.
And do I have to break it down or can I use the shortcut?
Short.
What's the square root of 25?
5.
5. So I'm left with 16 times 5. And what's 16 times 5? 80. Okay. Do you guys agree that right here, when I multiply these two together, that 5 and 5 is going to be a pair and is going to come out as just 5? Yes or no? So, I'm hoping eventually you can recognize that we can skip that step and say 4 times 4 is 16 and root 5 times root 5 is just 5 because it has a pair. Can you guys see that visually? All right, eventually, again, I will be skipping this step. I won't say 25, I won't write 25. I'll just say 4 times 4 is 16. You could do it in your head. 5 times 5 is 25. Oh yeah, square root of 25 is 5. Or just simply say a pair is a pair and it comes out as 5. Got it? Okay, number 14. Let's try it again. 3 root 6 times 3 root 6. What's 3 times 3? 9. Without saying 36 or writing 36, what's root 6 times root 6? Without saying 36 or writing 36,
6.
it's just 6 because it is a pair. Do you agree?
Yes.
Now again, you can write 36 and the square root of 36 is 6, but you can skip that step. What's 9 times 6?
4.
And it's nice to know that little trick because when you have something like this, number 15, which is 5 root 324 times 5 root 324. This part's easy. What's 5 times 5? Now, do you have to take the time to multiply 324 times 324 and get a really big number and then try to break it down? No, you don't have to waste your time because this is a pair. So without knowing the product of 324 times 324, what is the square root of 324 times 324? 324. And now you can use your calculator to multiply. 324 times 5. I'm sorry, 25. It is a big number. What is it? 8,100. All right, let's try another one. Oh, a little different. 4 root 5 quantity squared. What does squared mean? What do I do to the base? Write it down how many times? Twice. So 4 root 5 quantity squared is 4 root 5 times 4 root 5. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does that now look like number 13?
Yeah.
Let's try by saving that step. What's 4 times 4?
16.
Without saying 25, without writing 25, what's root 5 times root 5? 5. Good job. And what's 16 times 5? 80. Number 16 is big. It's huge. We use this all year long, so you want to make sure you understand and remember this concept. We're going to try another one. 3 root 8 quantity squared. What does that mean? 3 root 8 times what?
3.
Okay, let's see if we can use our skills. What's 3 times 3? 9. And without saying 64 or writing 64, what's root 8 times root 8? Good job, guys. And what's 9 times 8? 72. Questions?
No, that's easy.
It's easy?